girlfriends. Does anybody have girlfriends like that? Go to your girlfriend. So I called my girlfriend, Rita Wright, Lady Rita Wright, who is crazy as a Betsy bug, saved and anointed. She and I were preacher's wives together, reluctantly. Very reluctantly. And lo and behold, God has called us both into ministry. She is going to serve as our mistress of ceremony for the afternoon. She's going to come and introduce our first workshop presenter, and we are going to go from there.
All right. When I say ellipsis, y'all say, oh yeah. Okay, I didn't say ellipsis yet. Ellipsis. Ellipsis. Y'all did that thing. She talk about I inspired her. Y'all did way more than what I anticipated. They checking credit when they walk in. See, I'm used to them old kind of like bootleg conferences where they put the little amusement park tags on you. You only can go out and come in, and you can't, you got to bring your own lunch. And, she had us registering online. At the little bootleg conferences, you sign in on a little piece of paper, right? But y'all all right. I see your little ellipsis girls. What all the little ellipsis? They got cheerleaders, praise dancers. They got emergency prayer teams. They got slips and oil and lace front wigs and an emergency response team. Ellipsis. Ellipsis. Y'all better bring it now, because I make a whole lot of noise. Now, I know you guys looking at me kind of strange. Come here, where that come here, little chocolate girl. Come here now. Come here. Well, only be a few minutes now. Come on now. This the girl I want my son to marry. I really do want him. Y'all pray for me, okay? Because he got issues now. Now, I'm a big girl until he don't want to take a tumble, so I want y'all to see these little cute shoes I put on. Thank you, girl. Go on, stand close now, because you don't want your mama to fall. Now, see, we talking about stories. My shoes tell my story. These are my seals. These are my stand-in only shoes. Stop acting. Y'all got a pair of them shoes you just put on, you just stand in. You was at the club. You was hoping that brother didn't call you to the other end of the room. You wanted a drink real bad. You told your girlfriend, girl, go on, give me a Long Island iced tea. I'm going to just stand right here. Some of y'all wear them to church, too. Why y'all wear these to church? What, you going to shout in? I wish I would shout in a pair of 3-inch heels. But y'all look good. So, okay, look. Y'all know how sisters act when they don't know each other. Y'all act kind of stink, because y'all all probably sitting next to people that y'all know. We're going to take 1 minute, and y'all going to go around, find 5 people, and tell them something nice. Hurry up now. Y'all not moving, being disobedient already. Tell them something nice. Tell her little lace front is cute. Her lip gloss is cute. All right, Hurry up. Y'all, go on, move now. All right, hurry up now. Here we go. All right, we got to set the atmosphere. Move, y'all. Hurry up like it's aerobics or something. Y'all better hurry up. All right, in 5, 4, 3, 2. All right, that's it. I'm going to start singing. I'm every woman. Sing it with me. It's all in me. Anything you want from y'all ain't singing. Y'all need to be sitting down, do it naturally. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Y'all not singing it with me. I'm every woman. It's all in me. Come on now, hey. Anything you want from me, baby, I do it now. Here's the part. Here we go. All right, that's enough. I just needed y'all to sit down. Y'all good? Ellipsis. Okay, we're going to do one more thing. These are my house rules. Okay? Y'all ready? This is called the no judge zone. Turn to one of the little girls next to you and say, don't judge my life. Turn to the one on the other side and say, don't judge my life. Because y'all know how we act. We like to judge. You know, people judge me real bad. I don't tell people I'm a preacher's wife when they meet me. Because as soon as you tell somebody you're a preacher's wife, they stop cussing. They stop gossiping. Girl, I be wanting to hear all the stories. Soon as they know you're a preacher's wife, they stop talking about people. So turn to somebody, say it out loud, say, don't judge my life. Because see, what I did with my story was, when I finally realized that my story was a healing grace for somebody else, it no longer kept me bound. So my daughter came up with a word for me today. She said, Mom, you ain't an MC. I said, okay, we like to put words together. So I'm a host of her today. Now, wait a minute. I'm going to show y'all how to say it. Because if somebody called me a host of her today. Now, y'all repeat after me. Host of her. Don't say host of her. Because that first word, I just mess around. Okay, just say host of her. My name is Rita Wright, and I am your host of our for the day. Y'all like that? Give me some. Yeah, all right. Y'all look real good today. And it's another word I learned. Now, I watch BET. This is for the young girls. My eyelashes on fleek, huh? Standing on it, girl. I got happy. And for you older women, if you guys don't know what fleek is, just ask somebody. All right, we're going to have a wonderful time today. Then you know that's ghetto. Don't act like when you go somewhere, you don't got a pair of flats somewhere. How many of y'all keep flats? Don't play. That's another phase of my life. See, you normally don't carry flats when you wear these. But when you get past 40, you keep your flats. Don't take my shoes, little girl. Real quick. We have some amazing presenters, speakers, preachers. I mean, I'm like a baby compare, huh? Oh, the youth, the girls. Where the girls? Now, stand now. What ages? That's 13 to 18. Because they on fleek. Ooh. Y'all go on fleek on out of here then. They going in the back to have some fun. And we need to share our story because you would be surprised. See, I got a 15-year-old, and I promise to God, I'm going to kill her. I know we in church, but I promise, I am going to kill my 15-year-old. But you know what I realized? A lot of what they learn, they get from us. All right, that's a sidebar. Our first workshop presenter the topic of her workshop is living the life that wishes to live in you. Living the life that wishes to live in you. At this time, I would like to present Dr. Cynthia Neal Spence. Give her a round of applause. Bigger than that. Bigger than that. Like Jesus was in the room. Woo! She don't need these.
Way too much pressure. Thank you. And I don't know what is fleek.
What fleek? We gonna do a little girl seminar. I'm gonna grab one of them little girls. They don't know which one it's gonna be, and they gonna get up here and give us a little BT synopsis, give us some vocabulary. She wanna know what fleek means. It means cute, don't it? On point. She fleek right now, right?
Thank you so much. Oh my God, this is too much pressure coming after the two of you. I'm just telling you, I'm accustomed to my nice little classroom that I have a lot of control over. So So this is just absolutely wonderful, and let me just thank Lady J and the entire congregation and all of my Spelman sisters that I've run into. Yes, Spelman, yes. So thank you all for so much of the warm love and inspiration. I also see a very different Angela James in the back, so it's just really nice to be among friends. Let me just say that I am a teacher, and that's kind of who I am, and so I'm going to begin today. Really, my talk will introduce you to kind of three different books that I find very useful in my own development and my own moments of introspection. And one of the ones that I wanted to share with you, and I don't actually have it with me, I actually have it on my iPad, and because I'm still one of these people who really love the book, but every now and then I will play something on my iPad. But one that I want to share with you is called Showing Mary: How Women Can Share Prayers, Wisdom, and the Blessings of God. And it is written by Rita J. Weems. And if you don't know, how many of you all know Rita Weems? So if you don't know Rita Weems and her work, I strongly suggest that you follow her. She is, in fact, a biblical scholar, just a strong, strong sister who does incredible work, really talking to us as women. And showing Mary, and I just thought about Lady J's talk and sermon and just bringing us together and really talking about the ways in which we think that we have control over our lives. You know, we got our little lives planned out, and we don't really want many disruptions because, you know, we're on this path, we're on this journey. And Rita Weems calls us to think about Mary. She says, think about Mary, that young teenager who was following the pathway that was set for young women in her society. She was going to get married. She was going to follow a particular journey. And her life became totally disrupted. And, you know, we don't really talk about Mary that much. You know, we talk about a lot of folks in the Bible. We don't really give Mary anything other than, you know, the nativity. We talk about, you know, Jesus was born and all that. But Mary's life is a life that Rita Weems has taken. And through her text, through her book, she really shows us how we all are Marys and how many times we don't necessarily want to answer the call that Mary received. She refers to Luke chapter 1, verse 30, said, "You have found favor with God." Now, Mary's trying to live her life, but all of a sudden it just gets totally disrupted. And she's told, you have found favor with God. And so what Rita Weems does throughout this text is that she gives us many examples of the decisions that Mary had to make in response to finding favor with God. Now, she wasn't necessarily looking for that kind of favor. She was not looking for that. But she was called. She was called to carry out a responsibility that not only changed her life, but changed the life of all who followed. She, in fact, that particular acceptance of the will of God actually changed all of our lives. And so as we prepare to talk today about are we living the life that wants to live within us, I wanted to just bring your attention to Rita Weems ends with a prayer at the end of each one of her chapters. And this one, I just want you all to just kind of close your eyes, and I'm going to read it to you, and then I'll get into my presentation. But after, you know, thinking about Mary and thinking about the favor of God and the new self that had to emerge, she says, Mary's life was called into a whirlwind. And so I want you all to step into this whirlwind with me. It says, and this is the prayer. Oh, Lord, even though I cannot see my way, still I hear your voice calling me in the whirlwind. Things are falling apart and coming together at the same time. Fear and calm overtake me. Feelings of unworthiness and divine boldness vacillate within. but I hear you beckoning me, telling me to get up, reach out, look up, step out. I hear and I obey. Amen and a woman too. All right. So now, let us talk about, am I living the life that wishes to live within me? And when I spoke with Lady J, we were speaking via technology, email. We never met. But I told her that one of the books that I keep by my bed at night is a book written by Parker J. Palmer. And you know it, okay? Let your life speak. No, please, I want this interaction because I'm accustomed to being in class. Let your life speak. Listening to the voice of vocation, okay? And I read this text, and I read it over and over again because Parker Palmer is really talking about what have we been called to do. In the ministry, and when we talk about faith communities, we often hear about people saying, I've been called to preach, or when were you called? But the reality is, as Parker Palmer shares with us, is that we're all called. We are all called to do something in this world. We are all called, we're all given a particular purpose in life. And he helps me as I think about my calling, about am I really responding to the call? And as women, sometimes we get very distracted because we got so many issues, so many concerns. We've been socialized to believe that we got to take care of everybody's business but our own. And sometimes we don't answer the calls that are within us. And so today I want to just kind of walk you through kind of a process of me thinking through Parker Palmer, and I'll also mention another text to you, and this is Boundaries. I'm not sure if you all are familiar with Boundaries by Henry Cloud and John Townsend. But this is one of those books that you just need to go somewhere and sit down and be quiet and just sit with it. Because as women, it's hard for us to set boundaries. It's very hard for us to set boundaries. Sometimes we say, it's just not in my nature. But it really is. But we've been socialized to believe that we can't do it, that it's not proper, it's not acceptable. And Lady J, I just loved you talking about those real prayers. I don't think I've ever heard anybody talk like that. I've not ever heard anyone talk about this is where you really need to pray. And so it's so real, because we want to be polite. We want to be polite. We've been told to be polite. And so these texts help me. But let's, going again to texts, and as we think about the fact, as we talk about what have I been called to do, Jeremiah 29, verse 11 says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." And, as you reflect on Jeremiah, once again, we're reiterating this notion of there are plans that are already laid out there for us. And oftentimes we just fight them, or we got so much other noise going on in our lives that we really can't even understand what the plan is. And so sometimes the plan becomes someone else's plan for us, that we don't necessarily accept the plan for ourselves. So we can go to the next one. Okay. So in order to determine our plan, we have to begin to listen to the voice within, and Palmer talks about this. We have to, and discovering one's vocation is really hard work. Why am I here? What is it that I'm supposed to do? We know that we're supposed to be successful. We know that we're supposed to be nurturing. We know that we're supposed to have friendships. We know that, we're supposed to go to school. We're supposed to excel in school. We're supposed to excel in all aspects of our lives. We're just supposed to do all of this. And it's hard work, though, when we really sit down and say, but I'm doing all of those things that the book says I'm supposed to do. But what is actually my calling? That's hard work. It's hard work. It's that contemplative work. The work that you need to do when you have to just kind of get by yourself or get with another sister friend or someone that you can talk to who will be honest with you about what are your skills, okay? What's in the core? where is your core? It's so, when you exercise, I try to exercise as much as I can, and, sometimes I'm complaining. They say, well, you got to do that because that's for your core, because your core is what's going to help you. But oftentimes that's hard work building that core, those core muscles, because those core muscles will, in fact, sustain us in so many ways beyond just looking cute, right? But you need to work on that core. So it's hard work. But have you found, these are questions that I just want you all to think about as we're going through this. Have you found your calling? Are you doing what you have been called to do, or are you doing what others say you are called to do? I used to have to talk to first-year parents when they were bringing their daughters to Spelman, and I would say to them, I know that ever since she was born, you've said that she's going to be a doctor, or she's going to be a lawyer, or she's going to be an artist, because she draws the best pictures, always had those beautiful pictures on the refrigerator, and so she must be an artist. But the reality is when she comes here, reality is when she comes here, she has to answer her own calling. She can't be the doctor that you want her to be if that's not who she is, right? And so again, in life, oftentimes we are trying to march to somebody else's drum, okay? We're doing what others have told us we're supposed to do, and we've been so busy trying to please that we've never really discovered what it is that we really want to do. Okay? So you can go to the next one, please. Okay? And so in my work as a sociologist, we have a lot of theories, and one is the dramaturgical analysis, and this is something that was introduced by Irving Goffman. And the dramaturgical analysis talks about the fact that, as it sounds, life is a stage. Life is a stage. We are actors. We have scripts. We have costumes. Okay? We have props. Okay? And we just march around life performing. We really perform all of the time. We're performing. We have an audience, and we will change the performance given the audience. We will change the script given the audience. We'll change our costume given the audience. And so the question becomes, as we're talking about, are you living the life that wishes to live within you? Who are we performing for? We're performing for husbands, we're performing for partners, we're performing for children, for employers, girlfriends, co-workers, church members. The list goes on and on and on. We are constantly in a position of performing for an audience. We are constantly in a position of trying to determine which is the most appropriate script, what's the most appropriate costume, okay? What are the appropriate props? What do I need to bring with me to this performance? And we spend our lives always thinking about the next performance. Okay? Next one. Mm-hmm. And so as we're performing as women, we are, in fact, also trying our best to maintain some level of equilibrium. There used to be a talk about balance. You got to balance. We talk about it all the time. We got to balance. And then recently, balance has changed to integration. It's more about integrating than balancing our lives. But Palmer he says that our created natures make us like organisms in an ecosystem. There are some roles or performances and responsibilities in which we thrive and others in which we wither and die. Women are expected, however, to maintain the equilibrium within that ecosystem. Okay? And oftentimes we're so concerned about maintaining it, and that maintenance means that we're taking care of everybody else. We're taking care of everybody else because we don't want things to get too off balance. Okay? And then even sometimes when we're taking care of ourselves, we've got this plan. By 30, I'm going to do this. By 40, I'm going to do that. By 50, I'm going to do that. We got this plan. And when things disrupt the plan, we don't necessarily know how to function. But oftentimes, the disruption, rather than causing us to say, well, you know what, maybe I got too many performances. Maybe I got too many scripts that I'm trying to juggle. Rather than us saying that, sometimes we say we have failed. Okay? I am not living up to what I'm supposed to be doing. And oftentimes what I'm supposed to be doing is I've been supposed to be taking care of everybody else and making certain that all of these little parts are in place and that I'm following this particular plan that I've already set for my life. But the Lord already told us a long time ago, I got the plan. You got to sit still and listen and understand what the plan is, right? We are expected to be, as Toni Morrison stated, at my graduation from Spelman in 1978, okay? I mean, I was so excited, and it was Toni Morrison, and she said, Spelman women can do it all. And we were like, yeah, we can do it all. And she said that Spelman women, you must be the ships that go out to shore and the safe harbors that welcome their return. That's powerful. You know, that's that Toni Morrison talk. You're like, whoa, that's deep. That's really deep. And yes, I'm going to do that. But think about that. First of all, we can't do it all. We cannot do it all. But we spend so much time actually going out there to shore, trying to do it all. But then also we got to take care of everybody else who's coming back in. Okay? And that's a big responsibility. It's a huge responsibility. It is admirable that we want to do that. And I'm not saying anybody's going to leave here today saying, you know what, I'm going to stop that. I'm going to either be the ship that goes out the shore or I'm going to be or I'm going to welcome them. I'm just not going to do them all. Okay? The reality of our lives is that we will continue to try to do it all. Okay? But the reality is when we're doing that, we need to determine what is it about that that's really me. Okay? How am I actually performing in this capacity in a way that is truly representative of my authentic self, what I have truly been called to do? Okay, you can go to the next one. And so there are costs that are associated when we are not living the lives that we want to live within us. We say, at what cost do we live lives that do not wish to live within us? And so going back to Goffman's dramaturgical analysis, he talks about, part of this performance is that we have this face work. We put on this face, okay, because we know the audience is expecting something from us. And so in order to save face, and this is the part that gets a little bit deeper or maybe a little bit more challenging, the things that we do as women. We overextend ourselves to prove that we're worthy, okay? We overextend ourselves, and we do that at the expense of our own emotional and our personal health, okay? I can get an amen on that? We overextend ourselves, okay? Okay. We also do something else that a lot of times we don't want to admit. Rather, I'm depending on you. Rather than challenging oppressive systems, we become a part of the system. We choose. And we choose not to challenge the system. Okay? We just buy right into it. Okay? And when others critique it, we're like, you know what? I don't even know what's wrong with them. They need to get a life. They need to get a life. Okay? I have nothing to do with me. I have worked hard for this. I've gotten, I did this. I worked hard. And so everybody that's challenging the system, they just haven't worked hard enough. Okay? Okay? Or, yeah, you know what? No, I'm going to buy into this system. No, it's nothing. There's no sexism. There's no racism. We're in a post-racial society. You need to get over it, get a job, go to school, stop committing crimes, and do what's right. Okay? We're in a post-racial society. This is not about race. Okay? Sexism. No, you know what? If those young girls didn't dress that way, then nobody would bother them. They just need to get themselves together, put on some proper clothes, and nobody's going to try to sexually harass them. Nobody's going to sexually assault them. Okay, they just need to get a life. They need to get on the pathway. Look at me. Okay? So we don't challenge these systems. Okay? And then this is one, this last one. In order to save face, women will remain in unhealthy, intimate, interpersonal relationships just to say, I got a man. I got a man. You know, as my grandmother would say, some women will take any old piece of man just to say they got a man. Okay? And so, but we do that, to save face, okay? Because we're told that you're supposed to be partnered up, okay? Girl, what's wrong with you? You're 30 years old. You ain't got no man yet. What's wrong with you? Okay? And so we are living these lives, and so we're sitting in households where there's emotional abuse, where the partner is treating us badly, the partner's saying ugly things to us, or the partner's cheating, okay? It's emotional abuse. We're living in these situations where there's financial abuse. Either he's working, and plus he wants to take control over my entire paycheck, or he's not working, okay? Or he's giving me an allowance, okay? He's giving me an allowance. Okay? That's financial abuse. Okay? Spiritually, he's breaking my spirit. You know? He is literally, because you know, the spirit is a part of your core. The spirit is a part of your core. And so the spiritual abuse and the emotional abuse go hand in hand, because he's beating me down. Okay? Or that partner is beating me down, making me feel that I'm not worthy. Making me feel that God did not grant favor when I was created. Making me feel that there's no purpose in my life other than to serve him, the man, not God. Okay? And so I'm beat down. My self-esteem is down. It's low. Okay? I don't know which way to turn. He's told me I can't talk to my friends. I'm afraid of the shame that's associated with being a part of an abusive relationship. So I don't tell anybody, and I just retreat into my shell, okay? And so, but to save face, I go out in public, and I smile, and I hold his hand, and I build him up, and I lift him up, because that's what I'm supposed to do. Because you see, for some women and some young women, they believe that's their calling, that I have been called to serve a man, okay? And that my life will not be complete unless I have this man by my side, or unless I have a partner by my side, okay? That I have to be hooked up, got to be hooked up, because if I'm not, there's something wrong with me. And then the physical abuse. Women will endure physical abuse, and they will hide it, and they will cover it up, or they will give other reasons why, you know, I'm limping, or I got this mark on my face or my eye, okay? Or I can't come to work today. I just got that stomach virus again, okay? But it's physical abuse. And so many times we believe that we have to do this because, again, we're very much concerned about that audience. Okay? And that audience is very important. I've got to perform. I know what the script is. And in order to be called to play other parts, I've got to do this part well. I've got to play this part well. And so these are some of the things that we do to save face. We can go to the next one, please. Thank you. Okay. And so the question becomes, how does one compose a life worth living? And so there's an architecture to, when we talk about architecture, we talk about the architecture of constructing a life. And it begins with the establishment of a firm foundation. Okay? Foundation has to be firm. And the question becomes, is your foundation built on rock or is it built on sand? Lady J talked about, that frivolous stuff, the surface level stuff, okay? The look good. Everybody wants to, nothing wrong with wanting to look good. Everybody wants to look good, but what's inside? What is inside? Okay? Your life can't be built on the frivolous stuff because all of that will go, okay? But what do you have inside that is enduring? And how have you worked to make yourself healthy in order to be able to sustain the life that you're composing? Matthew 7, verses 26 through 27 say, and this is primarily just verse 26, anyone who hears these words and obeys them is like a wise, and I change, woman, who built her house on a rock. The rains poured down, because we know there are plenty of rains, okay? The rivers flooded over, okay? And the wind blew hard against the house, but it did not fall because it was built on a rock. And so as we are trying to kind of reinvent ourselves or really engage in an introspective analysis of who we are, what we've been called to do, one of the things we really have to think about is that what is it that I have constructed for myself that will sustain me? Is it the church? Is it coming here to the church? Is it talking to my sister friends? Is it reading the Bible? Is it reading other texts? Is it just having continuous conversations with myself? Is it seeking wisdom from the elders? Okay, right after me, I think one of my sheroes and one of my mentors, Dr. Gloria Wade Gales, is here. And she has created an amazing program that celebrates elders. And she allows the elders to tell their stories. But we get so busy and we're so, doing our thing and following our plan that we don't necessarily have the tributes. We aren't necessarily as committed to paying tribute to the elders, listening to their stories, to the wise women, the wisdom that they have to share with us. And so as whatever it is that helps us to build a firm foundation, sisters, we need to find it. Because life is hard. Life is hard. And we go through these storms, okay? Those floods come, okay? Things are shaky, Sometimes we have earthquakes in our own lives, okay? But what is it that sustains us, okay? What is it, your faith? If it is your faith, then you got to strengthen your faith. You got to always work on your faith, okay? Just because you went to Sunday school when you were a kid doesn't mean that was enough, okay? You've got to work on that faith. And I'm not saying that you got to read the Bible every day or anything like that, but whatever it is that sustains your faith, you got to do it, okay? You need to find that rock. We need to find the rock that helps to sustain us. And so one of the ways that we do it is that we've got to be able to manage our lives. And oftentimes we manage multiple selves. We've got the church self, the family self, the work self, the friend self. We got to figure out, how do we build congruence, okay? How do you find congruence among the various selves that we occupy? Because the reality is that we do. We have multiple identities. And those multiple identities require multiple sets of skills and abilities and sensibilities. But how do we seek congruence as we are attempting to manage those various demands? People will say to me, Cynthia, I don't know how you do it. How you do it? I said, but you know what? It all has to make sense for me. I can do a whole lot if I can find it connected. I can do a whole lot. But it's when you're just scattered everywhere, then it's very difficult. We have to, rather than quoting, and I think this is quoting the Bible, there's one thing, quoting the Bible, but what about living the Bible, okay? Whoever lives the truth comes to life, so that her works may be clearly seen as done in God. Okay, we can quote scripture all day long, but your life really should be a walking scripture. Your life should really be a walking scripture. And if your life is a walking scripture, then you will have congruence. That's what you're seeking. Asserting and affirming the value bestowed upon you because you are a child of God. Okay? Some days, it's hard and hard. You just kind of, I lift my hands up to thee, how do you get through the day? Some days you just have to, just call your creator, okay? Self-care versus selfish behavior, okay? Self-care. We got to take care of ourselves. But that doesn't mean that you're being selfish, okay? You can take care of yourself and still be concerned about others, okay? And oftentimes we don't quite understand that. And so that gets into that boundary work. Okay? Oftentimes we are afraid to set boundaries because we think that, people are not, they're going to think I don't care about them. You can care about people, but you can also, and Dr. Wade Gales probably is going to shake her head, you have to learn how to say no. You have to learn how to say no, because she's probably looking at me like, okay, when is Cynthia going to do this work? Okay, and I promise, I'm on a journey. I'm getting ready to do this work, okay? But self-care becomes a priority. And then we create, this conference talks about telling our stories. We're walking stories. And you all need to understand that you are a walking story. You are a walking narrative. There are people who are reading your story every day. When they interact with you, they are reading your story. And so we need to be cognizant of that. What story is your life telling? What story is your life telling? Okay? And then the last one, I think. Next one, thank you. Oh, that's it. Oh, okay, that's it. Okay, good. Thank you. And so, again, I go back to thinking about how we begin to engage in this kind of introspective analysis of who we are, whose we are, what we've been called to do. And again, like you, I'm a work in progress. And so I'm really thankful that I was asked to do this because it forced me to sit back down with some of these texts that have been sitting on my bed table that I've been too tired by the end of a long day trying to please everybody else to even pick up. But as we go through our life journeys, we must begin to take that time out, and we've got to craft that time out. I wanted to share as I close out, and then we can open it up if there's, if we want questions or discussion. I wanted to share one more piece from Showing Mary. Okay. And so Rita Weems goes back and she's talking about, she said, before God permits any change to take place in our outer world, whether positive or negative, God always sends gentle nudges ahead of time to ready us from within. Pay attention. Get ready. Listen to the woman within who has been secretly waiting for Gabriel, the angel. She too loves Joseph, but she doesn't want a conventional marriage. She is also looking forward to having babies. So she's talking about Mary. But she ends this one with another prayer, and I'm going to end this with a prayer, and then we can open it up and just maybe if you all have comments that you'd like to share. And this is the prayer. Oh Lord, I have been asleep for so long, but within me is a place of readiness. I am ready to wake up. I am ready to open my eyes. I am ready to see. Lord, I am ready to get ready. Even though it's difficult to focus and the temptation is to go back to sleep, I hear the alarm. I sense the new day. I feel me coming alive in you. I feel you coming alive in me. Let us begin, O Lord. Thank you.